said Brony running through the lane, that's the king of the rock. Lasers everywhere, even on his head, that's the king of the dot. No one until someone kills you. Now the automatic flow, fill them up, tighten them up. Mechanic, working on my craft, building something that they can't burn with jet fuel. TBOT, the best of the best, fool. Number one, no next up. Sounding that time, SAT attitude. Don't think twice to test us. He keep his tech on the dresser, and mine was on the wall. Cause the baby crawling on the floor. DE effect, same impact as the water boy. Now his leg is done, caught in the figure four. Oh Lord, not my baby. That's what his mama say. Now we package him up. Let's send them up. Hope they answer the knocks at the door.
Of course, we travel with our horses, so I've got 3 dogs. I've got 3 dogs with us. And we check in the Airbnb, and immediately I go into the main bedroom, put our stuff down, and I'm like, I don't like it. And I told Sebastian, I'm like, I don't want to stay in this room. Can we stay in the other room? And he's like, the kids' room? Yes. Something in this room is wrong. We stay in the other room, and then we jet on over to the rehearsal dinner. By the time we get back that night, we're exhausted. We know we have to be up. I got to in the morning with the bridesmaids. So we crash. Now, it's important to note that because we stayed in the kids' bedroom, when you walk out of that kids' bedroom, there's like 2 living rooms and then the kitchen, but you can see all the way through to the kitchen. Dogs are in crates in that second living room. So I come out of the bedroom to go to the bathroom, and I look into the kitchen, and there I see it. There is a grown man standing in my Airbnb at the counter. This guy's big, okay? Now ask yourself, what do you do in that moment? Freeze. And I'm checking all the things. Am I asleep? Am I dreaming? Let me fixate my eyes. What am I seeing right now? No, I see clear as day a grown man standing at the counter, and I'm like, someone broke into the Airbnb. I watch a lot of true crime. Okay, I was prepared for this. I locked the doors. I wedged the chairs. This is an important note. I wedged the kitchen chairs up under the doors leading to the outside. Staring at this man with his back to me, and my dog, Crouton, locks in and sees what I see, and he starts his little, okay, well, time is limited. He's about to turn around. So my choice is either to lunge into the room in front of me and undo the crate and get my German Shepherd to eat this man, or there's a banister right here by the fireplace and the bedroom. So I duck right back here. So as I duck behind this banister, there's like a vase. So the wall and the vase, and I'm behind it, but I can kind of see into the kitchen while this vase is like covered. I got one eyeball on him, okay? My dog is still like, ugh. I close the door ever so quietly, and I flip the lights on, and I'm like, Sebastian, get up. And he's like, what's going on? I'm like, there is somebody in our kitchen. There's somebody in our kitchen. Holding the door, and I grab my phone, and I'm like, I'm just going to call 911. Like, this is not my house. This is an Airbnb that somebody has broken into. And my dogs are out there. So I call the cops, and I'm like, I'm at the Airbnb, like, track my location. Somebody broke into our Airbnb. I don't know who this person is, and I don't know if they're dangerous or they're like mentally stable. I don't know. Y'all got to come in here and handle this. So as I'm on the phone with the cops, I'm like, this is such a wild way to die. Like, I would hate to be murdered at an Airbnb. I'm here for bridesmaids duty, not policeman duty. The only thing that I will be policing is the bride's tequila shots. Okay, that's what I'm here for. So longer story short, 3 minutes feels like half an hour. The cops get there. The door that we have to let them in is like right outside this bedroom door. So Sebastian's like, okay, like, let me go, and like, we'll get him in here fast. Opens the door, pulls the chair out from under the door, unlocks it, lets the cops in. Now I've got 4 cops surveilling this Airbnb. We can't find him. This man was large, okay? And we can't find him. So that's when I noticed that in the kitchen, the only other door leading to the outside also still has the chair wedged under it, meaning that nobody could have broken inside and then broken back out and leaned the chair up under, you know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't do that from the outside. So he is nowhere to be found. And I'm sure that I look crazy to these police officers who at this point find out that we don't live there. It's an Airbnb, and they skedaddled. They ran out of there like an old Cartoon Network scene. I'm just in this house convinced. I'm like, Sebastian, there's no way someone left. There's no way somebody left. They are still in here. Well, there's nothing. There's no attic. There's no floorboards. I pulled out every book of a bookshelf. Nothing turned around. I don't know where this person came from. I opened every cabinet. I looked in the oven. This person disappeared. To call that other than like a mimic or something like that. Like I walked out and maybe it didn't see me or it did. I don't know what the situation was. What I can tell you is I did not go back to bed. That bridesmaid's morning started 4 a.m. for me. I was not going back to sleep at all. And then here's the thing, after the wedding the next night, I'm like, well, I have a choice to make. Do I either stay in this Airbnb the second night or do I just drive home? More things that happen, like the lights would randomly just turn off and on, the TV would turn itself off and on. Like the oven and dishwasher door like flew open. So there were other things that were weird too, but those were the main ones. So yeah, just wondering, guys, have you too ever accidentally called the cops on a ghost? My mom used to say if it was a snake, it'd bit you. Yeah, well, if it was a murderer, I'd be dead because I did not move fast
about you, and it's no one else like you is what they're getting. Positive vibes only. Shout out to King Sauce Ball, Sauce, the boss in the building. Sauce, the boss in the building. Sauce, the boss in the.
And they had an addition added to the home. It was just a bedroom with a bathroom. It was a newer part of the house. It was secluded from the other parts of the living space, which was perfect for me because I had 5 brothers. I did not want to be anywhere near their bedrooms. And it was all great until one night, I swear I saw something. And I told my mom, I was like, I see something in the room. I told her multiple times that I was seeing stuff. She chalked it up as if I was, using my imagination, or I was just jealous because my little brother still slept with her. And she was like, stop crawling in bed with me. You're just jealous. You're too big. But anyway, fast forward to one night, I saw something. I saw as clear as day. I saw a woman standing near me, and I could tell you exactly what her hair looked like all the way down to her apron. And I saw her multiple times. Now, this small town, everybody knew everybody. My mom was friends with a lady who used to live in the house. And one day we went to her home to visit her. And my mom was just there chit-chatting, but I decided to tag along because if I had the opportunity to ask her about the ghost, I was going to. And whenever we were about to leave and my mom was, saying bye, I just turned around and I was like, we're not leaving until you ask her. Like, you have to ask her right now. And my mom was just like, literally like chalking it up, like, come on, let's just go. And finally she turned around and she was like laughing. And she said, okay, Nora wants me to ask you a question. Haha. And she said that she sees someone in her room. And she told her which room was mine. And she's like, she sees a woman in there. And this is what the woman looks like. And this is what she's wearing and all this stuff. And the lady looked up and her face was like white, like a ghost. She looked shocked. She told my mom, literally, she was like, you just described my mom. And that was her room. We built that section of the house on when she came to live with us, and she died in that room. And ever since that point, I was like, I'm not sleeping in that room anymore. I was like, that's it. Like, I'm sleeping with my mom. But things just got worse because when I was in that room, I did have like sleep paralysis whenever I saw her, but it was never scary. When I went to go sleep with my mom, even though my mom was in the bed, my little brother was in the bed, I had sleep paralysis, and it was a man. And the man was so freaking scary. Like, literally, I slept in that bed with my mom until we moved out of the house, which was like 2 years later. I mean, I was literally like entering high school, and I would not sleep on my own in that house. And finally, when we moved, it was like weird because like it was a change overnight. I immediately went to my own bedroom, never had the issue again, never had sleep paralysis again. But in that house, it was almost a nightly thing. It was so unreal. Like, I cannot describe it. Like, I was scared to go to sleep.
I've always felt a specific type of way about like Americans who don't necessarily believe in certain like other aspects of things because it forces them to like unlearn shit in the Western world. That's besides the point. Anyways, there's this interview of Lauryn Hill and Wyclef, and he's actively telling a story about like, yeah, like in Haiti, I saw like a mermaid. Like, that was some crazy ass shit. And Lauryn Hill is just like, making fun of him, right? And that shit just always made me look at her differently, because it's just like, you go over there, and you go to the fucking beach that they tell you don't go to. Go ahead, go to the coast. Matter of fact, y'all wanted more Haitian story times. I'm gonna give you another Haitian story time. I had told this story one time, but shit went wrong and the video got taken down. We're gonna do it again. I went to Haiti one time. I was 4. We were in Port-au-Prince. Everything was chilling. Everything was fine. And my grandmother would tell me, there are people, and like, for a lack of better words, people in Haiti who look like Slender Men. And the way that these spirits show up is they show up because the way that our house was set up is like, it was kind of a dome. It was kind of a dome like this. There were like 3 different wings, and I was in the middle wing. Woo, y'all. My grandmother told me, look, when this candle blows out, do not leave your room. Do not open your eyes. She was like, unless I come get you, do not get out of this bed. And she was just all like, and if you hear anything, turn the other way. You think I'm going to remember all of that at 4? I did. I just didn't listen. I started hearing scratches like that on the walls, but like from ear to ear, like on the walls, right? I was getting real scared. My eyes open. Okay, because the candle was already out. I had fallen asleep though, you know what I mean? Well, I'm hearing scratches. And so I opened my eyes. And I remember when I opened my eyes, I started hearing whispers. Whispers like this. Saying, open the door. Open the door. Get out of your bed. Open the door. Oh, hell no. I was like, when I tell you and this was the dumbest thing I could have done. I ended up moving. I ended up like curling up into the ball, bitch. That woke up the spirits. When I tell you, there were literal, like, it looked like Slender Men, like tall figures, shadow figures rising from the bottom to the top and like over in this dome area, bitch. There were claws, there were big sharp teeth, there were it was scary as fuck. It was one of the scariest things ever. And I just, the whispers just got louder and louder. And everybody was just like, that's literally what the fuck it sounded like. And that was one of the scariest things ever. And I remember my grandmother, she busted open the door and she was all like, you got to open your eyes. She was like, you're inviting them. And she had to give me a bath in this blue water. And that was one of the scariest things I'd ever fucking like done in my life. Now, the reason why I was talking about White Clef and this mermaid story is where we had lived, and I posted a video of like me back in Haiti, and you could see that like in my backyard was a beach. And I don't know why I said it like that. And girl, when I tell you, like a couple of nights later, this was one of my last nights there. I have never been back to Haiti since. When I tell you, I had looked out of the window and was just chilling there. The sun was setting. It wasn't dark yet. When I tell you, I was just chilling there and I see the most prettiest woman I had ever seen. The prettiest woman I had ever seen. Sitting down, and she was bathing in the sun. Now, this isn't something like just sitting in the sun. No, like she was dancing and moving in the sun. Like, I've never seen this before. And if you know anything about voodoo, you would know somebody named Oshun or Yemaya. And this woman, like the way that, like the stories that you hear about Oshun, like just like the way that you hear about like how seductive she was and how beautiful she was and like how people were in a trance with her, that's literally what this woman looked like. And I remember one of my neighbors who lived there too, he would always say, she's beautiful, but you can't touch her. She's beautiful, but you can't touch her. And so I remember, like, as I was looking at her, I kept thinking, like, I wonder why he was saying, like, you can't touch her. Like, you can't touch her. And I had seen this lady walk into the ocean. And the more and more she got into the ocean, the longer and longer her face got. And I turned around, I laid down, and I minded my business.
I got a spooky story for you. Okay. So, in case any of you don't know, My son has autism. So when he was little, he used to see things. Okay. Probably around 6 or 7, when he used to go to bed, he used to say that there was somebody laying next to him. Be like, mommy, mommy, there's somebody next to me. There's somebody next to me. And I will run into his room and I will be like, where is it? Where is it? And he would be all the way at the edge of his little twin bed. And he would be like, it's right there. It's right there. And I will punch the air, and I will punch the bed, the pillow. And I will be like, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here right now. Leave her alone. I don't know what it was, but we fighting. Okay. We're going to fight, because not my kid. All right. And this would happen almost every night. And I would be like, but what is it? What does it look like? And he would be like, it's there. He's green. He got a green face. And I would be so scared. Like, I would be so scared, because during that time, I was a single mom. So it was me, him, and his sister. And I was terrified. So, every night the same thing. Mommy, there's somebody right there. And every night we'll go in and I'll be like, get the hell out of here. And I will just punch. I will punch the air. I will punch the pillow. I will punch everything. I'll be like, get out of here right now. Get out of here right now. My son started sleepwalking after that. So every night I would catch him just standing in the living room. Like, just standing there, like, with his eyes open. And he's asleep though. Every night I would just walk him back to his bed. And sometimes he would be standing at the edge of my bed. Like, I would wake up and he would be right there, like standing at the edge of my bed. And I would just walk him back to his bed. Mind you, I'm scared. Okay. I am scared because it's just us, me and the kids. When I first met my husband, we started dating. We went to go visit his
Shout out
sister.
to Sauce, the boss, of course,
So we
man.
went to go
Who's in the
visit his
building,
sister one day.
man?
So
Shout out
his
to
sister
Sauce, the
lived
boss
in her
of
husband's childhood home. We're going to their house for the first time. So my son, he walks in the house and he walks in like nothing, and he walks into the
Sauce,
living room.
the boss in the building.
He looks at the kitchen and the dining room, and he walks straight into her bedroom. And he opens the door and he says, there's someone in here. There's someone in here. There's someone in here. She's right there. She's right there. By this time, he's 9 years old. So I go running in and I get him and I'm like, wow, who's in here? Who's in here? He's like, she's right there. She's right there. She's right there. There's somebody in here. There's somebody in here. And I was like, okay, come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And we run out and I look at my husband and I'm like, and then I look at my daughter and I think she was like 13 at the time. And we look at each other and we're like, there's somebody in there. There's fucking somebody in there. So, my husband tells me that his brother-in-law's mom died in that house. And I was like, oh my God, she's still here. She's still here. The next time we go visit, like 2 weeks later or something, he walks straight to that room again. And he's like, there's someone in there. There's someone in there. There's someone in there. And again, he was like, she's right there. She's right there on the bed. Like, he would be like, she's right there on the bed. Oh my God, their house is haunted. So, yeah. So we walked them out of the room and we're like, there's no one in there. It's okay. It's okay. There's no one in there. And that's one of the times that my son saw a ghost.
I don't know who Cat G is from Chicago. When I tell y'all, she got me hooked on her stories and shit, talking about the paranormal activity in Chicago, the vampires and shit, the wolves, the gargoyles, and all type of shit, y'all. As y'all can see, when she talking about Lower Wacker Drive, that's one level down. But I'm gonna take y'all a different direction, y'all, because I got a small story time. So at the place of work where I work at, where my office is located inside the building, it leads to Lower Wacker Drive, which is connected to the Riverwalk. That also leads you to Navy Pier, where KG talked about the mermaids and all of that stuff. Right? So the fact that it's raining like a motherfucker right now, as soon as I cross this right here, I'm considered underground. I'm away from the top world now.
What are you talking about?
This is Lower Wacker, right? And as y'all can see, this is the ramp that goes up. It also comes down, right? So moving forward, where I work at, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm connected to Lower Wacker. He used to be this man. He used to always sleep. I forgot what you call these damn things right here. Y'all can tell me in the comments what they call this thing right here. moving forward, but he would always sleep in a spot like this, right? So I had went on vacation for my birthday in June. You know what I'm saying? I had took 2 weeks off, but mind you, I will always feed this man. I will feed this man lunch, breakfast, anything that I had that I bought, you know what I'm saying, from home, anything that I cooked, I will always bring this man food because from what I heard, he's been sleeping in the same spot for the past 15 motherfucking years, y'all. This particular day, when I had came back from my vacation, y'all, side note, that's the Riverwalk, you know what I'm saying, Lower Wacker again, going down the stairs, you feel me? Now you all the way down. Now this is where Cat G talk about the vampires, y'all. You see the type of lightning that's down here versus the light that's up here? It's very dim, right? So this is the route I have to take when I go to work and shit, right? Getting back on topic, I had just came off of a 2-week vacation and shit. You know what I'm saying? When I make it to this certain stop sign, right here at this corner in front of me, let me turn the camera around. As you can see, every time I make it to that stop sign, I will see that old man out there feeding the birds. For some reason, birds always love his energy. Birds always come around him. Even when he sleep, the birds will sleep right next to him, including the fucking mice down here, bro. Like, dead and serious. But every time I make it to the stop sign, right here, I will see him feeding the birds, and he will see me coming, and he will wave. Mind you, now these lights right here were flickering at this moment. By the time I made it to this fucking stop sign, right? So I see the man. So I end up going into the workplace, right? Moving forward, it was so fucking busy this particular day at work. We had a lot of conferences going on and shit. And normally I'll come outside and check up on him. But this particular day, when I seen him that morning, I felt like he was good. But this particular day, I had worked my ass off and it was so motherfucking busy, right? I'm so tired. I went home. I was fucking exhausted and shit, right? Tell me why the next day I was running late. So I decided to take a different route. I didn't take Lower Wack. I actually went through the Pedway system that Kat G talked about, the Pedway system that leads you from Michigan all the way over to da-da-da-da-da. I'm going to tell you that later. But moving forward, I was running late for work this particular day, so I took the Pedway system to work. So I clock in and sit, you know what I'm saying? And my coworker comes in and sit. And he like, bro, you heard what happened? And I said, what you mean? He say, bro, don't you know that man that used to sleep, you know what I'm saying, outside? And I said, yeah. What happened to him? I just seen him yesterday. And he looked at me, he started laughing. He said, no, you didn't. I said, yes, I did. I said, when I was walking down Lower Wacker Drive, I said, before I walked up the ramp, that man waved at me. He was out there feeding the birds like he always do. When I tell y'all my coworker pulled out a motherfucking picture and showed me a picture of this man, and I'm looking like, what the fuck? I was shocked, right, y'all? I'm like, okay, when does this happen? This motherfucker, a coworker of mine, told me that this man been gone since you was on your vacation. Are you fucking serious? I felt so fucking bad, man. It was just crazy that I just literally saw this motherfucking man. And then coming to find out that this man been gone since my fucking vacation. That goes to show you, man. It's very much real out here. And I'm about to show y'all the spot because that man been there for so long. It's like you can still see his, like, the shape of his body that's there. I'm about to show y'all right now. Hold on. He used to sleep right behind here. As you can see, it's somebody down there. As you can see, somebody down there. But look, that man used to sleep right here. If you really look at it, you can still see where his head was at, where he used to always lean back at. You can still see the shape of his palate right here. Normally don't talk about stuff like this on my platform, but I just thought I'd, say something about it. You know what I'm saying? KG, you inspired me to talk about it and shit like that, but you can explain further details to everybody else what's going on down here, though.
Shout out to Sauce, the boss, of course, man. Who's in the building, man? Shout out to Sauce at home.
Tells you that she has
Who
a
else,
really
man?
bad feeling about a place that you're going or something
Sauce,
that you're
the
doing,
boss,
you should
man.
listen.
Of course,
because
Sauce.
I guarantee that 9 times out of 10, she's probably right. Moms just have that sixth sense where we know that our kids are in danger. Unfortunately, Anthony did not listen. So we're going to go ahead and share his story. And I promise you, you're going to want to stay till the end because it has a crazy twist. When Anthony was in college, he had a girlfriend that lived about 8 hours away. So every weekend or every Friday night, he would take the 8-hour trip to go spend the weekend with her and then drive back. He made this drive so often that he literally knew the route like the back of his head and would even stop at the same little restaurant at the midway point so often that he got to know the people that lived there or that worked there. On a Friday, just like his usual Fridays, he was getting ready to leave when his mom came up to him and said, I really think you should stay home this weekend. I have a really bad feeling. Something's going to happen. You should just stay home. Anthony, of course, reassures her and tells her that he's going to be perfectly fine, that he has made this drive many times before and that it was no different. And then his mom tells him, well, there's also a storm coming. So I really think you should reconsider staying home. And Anthony tells her no, that he's fine, that he's driven in the rain before and it's not going to be any different. Against her wishes, he goes ahead, he gets in his car, and he leaves. Once he hits the midway point, he stops at that little restaurant that he would always stop at. Now, the waitress that worked there knew him by name because he stopped there so often, so she kind of came up to him and to take his order, but he noticed that she looked very so he asked her what was wrong, and she just told him that she just felt like there was something in the air that was off, like the energy was off, like she just felt like something really bad was going to happen. And also, being that they were getting ready to get hit with a storm, like it really unsettled her. Anthony kind of shrugged it off and continued on. He ate his food and left. As he was walking out of the restaurant, he noticed that as soon as he walked out, the waitress went and locked the door. Like he was literally the last customer they were going to take because they were all going to go home. He decided to kind of shrug it off, not let this really bother him. He got into his car and continued the rest of the way. He would typically listen to podcasts on the way, so he just put on his podcast and started to drive. At this point, it started to calm down really hard, but he wasn't worried because, again, he's driven in the rain and it wasn't a big deal. As he's driving on the road, he hits a spot where it's literally the middle of nowhere. Like there's nothing in sight when he happens to see a woman on the side of the road. Now, mind you, it's raining. His visibility is very low. He can't really make out her face or anything. He just knows it's a woman by the shape. He figures that maybe she got into a fight with whoever she was in her car with or a car with, and they just kicked her out of the car because there was no way that she could have just wandered over there on her own. It was far. So he decides to pull over on the side of the road, kind of ahead from her. He can see her behind. He starts to kind of honking his horn. He tries to look out the window to get her attention, to be hey, do you need a ride? Are you okay? But she doesn't turn her face to look at him. Then from his radio, mind you, he's listening to a podcast. He starts to hear the screams of a woman. He assumes that maybe because of this visibility or the rain, the satellite's messing up. So maybe he's picking up 2 different channels, and maybe in the other channel there's someone screaming. That's what he thinks. So he continues to kind of wait there and try to get this woman's attention. She's not listening. He kind of looks down to try to mess with his radio. When he looks back in his rear view mirror, he sees that the woman is now right behind. Her face is right up to the window, and he has a clear look at her face, and her face looks deformed, something is seriously wrong with her. Every alarm bell goes off, and he's there's absolutely no way that whatever that is human or alive. I don't know what that is, but I want to get as far away from that thing as I possibly can. He hits the gas, and he just takes off. Now at this point, he can't see anything. It's so dark, it's raining, it's horrible. But again, he has taken this road so many times that he memorized it. So he's just kind of going based off memory. But the whole time that he's driving, the static from the radio continues, and he keeps hearing the screams coming from the radio, and he's confused, and he's just once again thinking maybe some sort of satellite issue. I don't know. He just keeps driving and driving and driving. He drives for about 30 minutes straight without stopping until he finally hits a gas station. He's still kind of shaken up. He gets to the gas station, puts gas in his car,
the boss in the building.
He walks into the gas station. There's 2 men standing there, behind the register, kind of talking to each other. He goes and grabs his snacks. He pays for his snacks. As he's walking away, getting ready to get back into his car, one of the men looked at him and said, "Hey, where are you going?" Anthony looks back at him and goes, I'm going to my car. And the guy goes, "What about your wife? Are you gonna leave without your wife?" Anthony's like, "What wife? I didn't drive here with anyone. I'm by myself." The man then tells him, "No, you're not. When you pulled up to get gas, we saw a woman out of the passenger seat. And she got out and she walked towards the back of the building. We thought she was going to the bathroom." So the whole time Anthony was driving in the car with the woman from the window. Anthony then tells him, "Absolutely not. I'm here by myself. You have to believe me. You can go check the bathroom. There's probably not going to be anyone there." The one man then tells him, "Well, you're very, very lucky because that road that you just took is known for a ton of car accidents. The fact that you're even standing here, even able to speak to us, is incredible because there's so many people that never make it. So what he encountered was definitely some sort of like
about you, and it's no one else like you is what they're getting. Positive vibes only.
A lot of times when there's
Shout out to Keon, Sauce, the boss in the building.
To like the spiritual, there's always
Shout out to
something
Sauce, the
there
boss, of
causing the
course, man.
accidents.
Who's in the building, man?
Needless to
Shout out
say,
to Sauce
once
at
Anthony
on.
made it to
Who
his
else,
girlfriend's
man?
house, he pretty much told her that you
Sauce,
need to
the
move.
boss,
Like either
man.
I need to
Of
move or you
course,
need to move
Sauce.
back. Like I cannot keep making this. I can't keep making this trip back and forth.
One time I accidentally booked the most haunted hotel in Chicago for my friend and I am no longer allowed to book hotels. My friend and I were traveling to Chicago. It was my first time. She had been there before. I just went online. I found a hotel that was not super expensive, good reviews, and centrally located. And that was the Congress Plaza Hotel in Chicago, which is the most haunted building in Chicago, supposedly. We get into Chicago at like 11 o'clock at night. We get into an Uber from the airport to our hotel. Uber driver is being really chatty. We pull up to the Congress Plaza Hotel and he says, "Oh, my daughter's obsessed with this hotel. It's the most haunted hotel in Chicago." And we said, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, she really wants to stay the night here because it's supposedly really haunted." And we were like, "Please tell us you're joking." He was not joking and pulled up and was like, "Okay, see ya, have a good stay." At this point, we're terrified because I cannot do haunted. My friend cannot do haunted. Even like the idea of it being haunted, whether or not it actually was, we just were like, we're not going to sleep. This is the worst. This is worst case scenario. Okay, this is the hotel that we pull up to. You can't really tell in this, but it's like pretty old. It was built in like the 1800s, like the late 1800s. Was when it was like booming. This is the lobby that we walked in. No one's in the lobby. And granted, it's 11 o'clock at night, but still it felt very like we had the idea of it being haunted in our minds. So that colored our experience here. We check in with the bellhop and we're like, haha, our Uber driver just said this place is haunted. Hoping he'll be like, "Oh, that's just rumors. Like we never have any issues." And he's like, yeah, we get that a lot. So he didn't reassure us at all. He basically confirmed. So at that point, we're like, okay, stick it out. We can do this. We go to the elevator. This is the elevator. Beautiful. We get in. Our room was on the 11th floor. Let's just get to the room and we'll see how we feel is what we decided. Because again, it's like 11:30 at this point. So we get in the elevator. I push 11. Elevator takes us up. Doors open. Pitch black. Just a pitch black hallway. And we said, nope, and went back to the lobby because there was not a shot in hell. We were walking down a dark corridor in a supposedly haunted hotel. This is the ballroom. Just wanted to show you. It's very pretty, supposedly very haunted. Anyway, so we go back to the lobby. We find a different bellhop this time. Mind you, they're dressed like they are from the 1800s, like red cap, red like button, whatever. Very old school bellhop outfit. And we're like, "Hey, so we just got on the elevator and it opened to a dark corridor." And he goes, "Oh yeah, like that happens sometimes. Just try again and it'll work." And we said, "What happens sometimes? What do you mean?" Anyway, so I don't know how we did it, how we made ourselves do it, but we went up that elevator again and we walked all the way to our room. Now these are the hallways. And it doesn't look very eerie because it's not nighttime. The windows are open. But imagine this. If you can see at the end of this hallway is a door with a tiny window in it. We have to walk through. We probably walked through 3 doors like that down the hallway. It was like a labyrinth. The walls kept like curving around and we would like curve around and there's all these room numbers. And then we get to another door with a hole in it and we'd have to walk through that. This is kind of like a better image of like how the walls went. Anyway, and here's a better picture of the door with the little window in it, which just felt very insane asylum to me. Spooky. Okay, anyway, we get to our room. It looks a little bit like this. I don't remember exactly what it looked like. We were just freaked out at that point. There was no chance that we were going to stay there. So we got on the phone, found a hotel nearby that had vacancy. We go back to the lobby. They were super nice. They didn't end up charging us. We were like, "I'm so sorry. I know we're annoying, but we can't stay here. Like we can't do haunted." So at that point we were like, we're not looking anything up about this hotel until tomorrow. So we got to the new hotel, went to sleep, still didn't sleep great. But the next day we were like, okay, let's Google what this hotel is really about. And this is what we found out. Okay, this is from an article in CBS News, but quoting Chicago Hauntings Ghost Tours, but basically saying it's a super haunted place in Chicago, describes it as being very creepy. It's also like very historical, like a lot of presidents stayed there. Al Capone had like a residence there for a while. And another creepy historical figure was like H.H. Holmes was rumored to frequent the lobby there and like find victims. If you haven't read Devil in the White City, do that now. So there have been many documented at the hotel, too many to try to start a comprehensive list. That's how many there have been. I'm not going to go through this one, but you can pause to read. But his ghost is referred to as the Shadow Man. The most haunted floor is the 12th floor, which is rumored to be haunted by a little boy. And they connect it to the death of Carol Langer, who was a little boy. And this is his mom. You can pause to read. But basically, she threw her children from a window and then herself. But basically, a lot of people have reported seeing a little boy in the hallway running around. No, thank you. Room 441 is on the 4th floor, and it is supposedly the most haunted room. Many people report calling security because they see a woman standing or hovering over their bed, pushing or tugging on the bed, pulling off their covers. This one doesn't scare me so much, and actually probably would have loved to see Peg Leg Johnny. He's just kind of like a funny ghost who roams the hallways. The ballroom that I showed you, there's also rumors about that. It's called the Gold Room, haunted by a ghost of an old woman. Some have reportedly had her in photographs from their weddings. There's also rumors that photos will be taken and like bridesmaids don't show up in the photos, even though they were supposed to be there. And this is what really got us. Legend has it that the elevator often makes unplanned stops on the 8th floor. Remember how our elevator opened up to a dark corridor? Our theory at the time, because something that we Googled, which I can't find now, and I don't have any proof that this is true, but there were rumors on these blogs that the 12th floor was completely shut down because it was so haunted. So what we thought happened was our elevator opened on the 12th floor instead of the 11th floor. And that's why it was dark, because it's a closed off floor. I have no idea if that's true, but that's what we thought. Another thing about the elevators, so fun. Anyway, if you're into haunted things, I've heard it's fun to stay at the Congress Plaza Hotel. I will not be joining you, but I wish you the best of luck until Peg Leg John.
All of a sudden, I heard a voice come over what sounded like a loudspeaker in a very deep tone telling me to get out. Just then, the door had the elderly woman and the child in it sprung open, and they were no longer there. I have no explanation for what I saw. I watched them both walk into the stall together, and I can't explain where they went. The voice kept calling me a little girl and telling me to leave. I walked into the stall where the girl and the elderly woman were and saw a picture of a skeleton that was placed on the top of the toilet. The skeleton was grinning with an evil smile. I was terrified. I ran to the door and grabbed the handle, and then I remembered my sister was still inside. I said to her, "Liz, let's go." I told her to not even wash her hands and rushed her out of the bathroom. I told my parents that we had to leave because there was a voice that came over the loudspeaker in the bathroom yelling at us to leave. And there was a little girl with her grandmother, and now they are gone. My mom asked my sister if she heard it. She said she heard a voice, but she couldn't make out what it was saying. We ended up leaving the restaurant, and I was shaken. 2 years later on Halloween night, of course, my mom asked me if I wanted to go back to the restaurant to have dinner before my best friend and I went trick-or-treating. I'm sure she thought it was on theme to go on Halloween night and took it as a bit of a joke. I was apprehensive, but I figured I would just stay out of the bathroom and everything would be fine. I was sitting in when I heard the static on my mom's phone. You could not pay me to go back there. Even reciting this story has made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. And she actually sent me a few pictures of what the restaurant looks like now, so I will be sure to include those at the end of the video. And if you live anywhere near Plainfield, New Jersey, and you know what she's talking about, leave a comment below if you've ever been there before, or if you've been to the new pho restaurant that it turned into.
My life, son.
That is freaking terrifying.
It's his birthday. Everybody wish him happy birthday.
Oh, this is big right here, y'all. Everybody wish Sauce, the official boss, happy birthday, man. Let's go. Let's see it in the timeline.
We're back once again.
I like the,
you know, it's a beautiful day.
I like the,
if you're feeling down, just
I like the wish.
get you a bag of that. We just light up. Can't fire Mr. Head Ride. Can't greet him with two, only the third eye. Killer vision, DSER in hospital. Let me on the track. Accidents to operas. Conscious, unconscious. Flow riding on my train. Denzel, Chris Pine, unstoppable. Albert Einstein. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Therefore, I'm flying off the tracks. Extraterrestrial blunt, I got it on my lap. When I land Soul Train line, hop up on my dad. They fear what they don't understand. I forgive them cause they don't really know no better. Hope let them walk on water. I'm dancing in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean with a polo sweater. How bad do you want success? I was holding my breath unconsciously. The conscious me woke up and came up for air. I turned 136 to the boom, but ain't dancing but chopped. I guarantee them in the dreams. Fire miss, Mr. Clean. Dirty talk, come shots, listen ring. The devil tried to catch me slipping, but my third eye open. I see when I don't.